Drop Dead the Cabin originally launched on Quest 2 back in February of this year, bringing Call of Duty zombie-style gameplay to VR. Playing either solo or co-op with a friend, you have to power a generator using fuel cells scattered around the map, then survive long enough for the generator to radio for your rescue. You have to kill zombies to earn research points that allow you to unlock areas of the map to find the fuel cells. I reviewed the game back then and you can find a link to that review down below. I've also left a referral link to get 25% off the game if you decide to pick it up. The Cabin has seen multiple updates since its release, addressing some major quality of life issues I had with the game, along with new guns, difficulty settings, and a new area. Now with Quest 3's launch, developer Soul Assembly, who also made Drop Dead Dual Strike and the underrated Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sister, have updated the Cabin again, adding enhanced Quest 3 visuals and a new mixed reality mode called Home Invasion. Today I'm going to break down that update and let you know if it's worth playing. I'll start with the visual upgrades for Quest 3. First of all, take the enhancements away and the game just naturally runs better on the new hardware. Quest 2 would sometimes strain to maintain a decent frame rate if there were too many zombies on screen, and I don't know about anyone else, but when I first played the game, I wasn't very good and that tended to happen a lot. There's none of that on Quest 3, the game runs silky smooth. As for the graphics, the devs have added more dynamic lighting, the grass looks better, the fog looks more like actual fog and less like a way to hide draw distance. It all looks great, but frankly, the Cabin was a pretty good looking game already. You don't exactly have time to stand back and admire the view very often at the pace this game runs at. Even between waves of zombies, you're scrambling to unlock storage crates for health and ammo, quickly unlock new doors to look for the fuel cells, and reload your guns for the next wave. So I'm sorry to say this to the devs because the game does look great, but in the heat of battle, you really don't notice it as much. Having said that, it's still a welcome sight, and shout out to the devs for continuing to update and enhance an already solid game. For anyone who has struggled to play the Cabin, you'll be happy to know there is now a beginner difficulty level. You earn less XP playing this mode, but if you were quickly overwhelmed before, this should be a better experience for you. Now onto the mixed reality. Functionally, Home Invasion is still a survival game. Instead of finding fuel cells around the cabin, you're now tasked with maintaining the signal from a rescue beacon in the room with you. This mode does require a full space setup. By that I mean you'll need to map out your entire room and specifically designate windows, doors, and furniture. To play Home Invasion properly, you need at least one map window, one door, and one desk for the beacon to sit on. I'll explain what happens if you don't do this a bit later. For now, let's say you have all those things. Your window starts to round boarded up like the VR windows in the main game, and zombies quickly tear that down to get into your room. The door is reinforced steel with an open window for you to shoot out of. You'll want to keep the door up as long as possible to keep the zombies funneled into the window. Home Invasion, like the VR mode, runs in waves. After a few minutes, you'll get a break and a hatch in the floor opens up, giving you more ammo, weapons, and milk for health. This lasts about 30 seconds before the next wave starts. You can turn this into a 360-degree shooter if you put doors and windows behind you, which really ratchets up the intensity. This is actually a strength of the Home Invasion mode because if you want to make the game easier, simply map your door and window within the same general area and the zombies basically stay in front of you. If you want an insane challenge, add multiple windows and doors all around you and good luck. You can cater this to your general comfort level, and since there's no artificial movement in the game, you're just moving about your real life room, there's no worries about any sort of motion sickness. As for how to win, there's a button on the beacon in the room with you. You have to press that button to realign the signal until you get a countdown timer, then survive long enough for a rescue ladder to drop down. Oh, and there's a new enemy in the game, zombie birds called Howls. If you see one of these, kill it immediately as they jam the signal. And in round 3, a behemoth of a zombie punches a hole in the wall of your room next to your replenishment hatch, giving zombies another way in. As of this video, I've only completed Home Invasion once in about 10 attempts. It's a great challenge. As far as I can tell, this is a single player mode. I didn't see an option to invite another player, even if someone were in the room with you in their own headset. Maybe this comes in a later update, I don't know. All of the difficulty modes from the base game are here for your choosing as well. So what happens if you don't map a door or window? Well, you end up standing around hearing zombies all around you for the first 2 waves, but you never get attacked. You don't see any action until the hole gets punched in your wall and every zombie comes in through there. You'd think this would make the game easier, but it doesn't. It actually makes it impossible. You see, the Howls will still show up to block the signal, but now some of them can be out of line of sight since you don't have any doors and windows to shoot them through, so the game is literally impossible to complete. You can hear them, but you can't get to them. I played 40 minutes like this, constantly realigning the beacon, and I never got a countdown to trigger, so it becomes an endless wave shooter. I'm saying this to say, if you want to experience Home Invasion properly, be sure to do a proper space setup. Again, at least one window, one door, and the desk is kinda optional. The beacon can sit on the floor, but you'll want that too. In the end, Home Invasion gets a thumbs up from me. Experienced players get a new challenge, and for people new to VR who aren't ready for artificial movement, Home Invasion gives you a similar gameplay loop to the VR mode, making the game much more accessible. Let me know if you plan to check out Home Invasion in the comments. If you plan to buy the game, use my referral code down in the description for 25% off, and it helps support the channel. If you'd like to see my original review of the cabinet, click the video on the screen right now, and as always, thank you for watching.